The teasers for the Arirang comeback dropped. The excitement was it was at a fever pitch, but then, a sudden Weverse notification pinged.
Oh, man.
And the fandom just went silent. In an instant, the entire K-pop world was turned completely upside down.
It is literally the notification every single fan dreads reading, just, hello, this is BigHit music.
Yeah, your stomach just drops.
It really does.
Join Eric and Minji as they ride the Hallyu wave, uncovering the biggest K-pop comebacks, shocking industry controversies, and major K-drama updates. From internet-breaking rumors to historic chart milestones, we dive deep into the world of Korean entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
So our mission today is to analyze this massive viral YouTube headline that has, it's entirely dominated the algorithm over the last few months.
Right, it's been everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
And the title of the video is, quote, BTS RM Eris career-threatening injury. The truth HYBE is hiding.
Which is, that's a heavy claim to make, right?
Yeah, very heavy.
Especially given the historical weight of this specific comeback. Like, we are looking at a critical moment for the biggest group in the world.
Absolutely. And to find the actual truth, we are bypassing the clickbait entirely.
Thank goodness.
Right. We've pulled the official BIGFET statements from Weverse, translated live broadcast transcripts from Chosun, consulted medical breakdowns published by Times Now.
Okay, wow, you went deep.
Oh, we went all in. We even looked at psychological fandom analyses from Screenwise and pulled the raw, staggering tour data directly from Billboard box scores.
Nice.
So we are looking at this from every possible angle to figure out what actually happened and, more importantly, how this single incident kind of exposed the unprecedented physical and economic machinery behind the Hallyu wave in 2026.
That's the real story here.
Right.
So to start, the date we need to focus on is March 19th, 2026.
Right.
This was just days away from what was arguably the most highly anticipated event in modern pop music history, the post-hiatus reunion.
Which was huge.
Right, because after years of mandatory military service and individual solo projects and just endless speculation, the visual teasers for their 5th studio album, Arirang, were finally live.
Yeah, and the pressure surrounding this specific release it's really difficult to overstate.
Oh, definitely.
Because in the K-pop industry, a post-military comeback is basically the ultimate test of a group's longevity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Achieving an all-kill on the charts isn't just a goal here. It is the baseline expectation from investors, from the agency, and obviously the fandom.
The stakes are astronomical.
Yeah. And right at the peak of this anticipation, BigHit Music drops a formal notice on Weverse.
Right. The official statement detailed that during a late-night dance rehearsal for the Arirang comeback stage, RM suffered an injury.
Oh.
Yeah, he was immediately taken to the hospital for a detailed examination, and the medical directive required a cast and strictly limited movement for a minimum of 2 weeks.
2 weeks, right before the comeback.
Yeah, strictly just to concentrate solely on recovery.
Yeah.
And the agency noted that his onstage performance, including the really complex new choreography, would have to be, quote-unquote, partially limited.
Wow. And I remember reading the domestic Korean netizen, or K-nets, and international fan reactions from that morning, and it was intense.
I can only imagine.
Yeah. Within minutes of the Weverse ping, the hashtag #GetWellSoonNamjoon overtook every other trending topic globally on TikTok and X.
Unsurprising, honestly.
But the underlying tone wasn't just supportive. It was genuine panic.
Like doom scrolling.
Exactly, doom scrolling.
Yeah.
Because you have millions of Armens who had built this 2026 reunion up into this monumental, almost mythical event, right?
Yeah.
To hear that the leader and foundational pillar of the group was injured right before the starting gun fired, it sparked an immediate wave of just severe anxiety.
Well, and that anxiety is rooted in the sheer scale of the operation. This is not just a standard album rollout. This is a multi-million-dollar global launch.
Right.
When the central figure of an operation that size is compromised, the ripple effects hit every single department, from stage choreography to global logistics.
It is very similar to a star quarterback snapping their ankle the night before the Super Bowl.
Oh, that's a great analogy.
The stakes are unimaginably high. Except, in this scenario, the Super Bowl is a multi-month, globally televised campaign.
Right, and hundreds of millions of fans have been waiting years for the kickoff.
Exactly. And the quarterback's physical performance dictates the success of a massive cultural export.
Wow, yeah.
But the real question is, was it actually a career-ending injury? And what was HYBE allegedly hiding? Stick around because the medical reality of what happened to RM's foot is completely bizarre.
It really is. We need to address the career-threatening headline directly because the medical facts presented by Times now completely dismantle the conspiracy theories.
Okay, lay it on me.
So the official diagnosis was an accessory navicular sprain.
I read the Times Now breakdown on this, and conceptually, an accessory navicular is fascinating. Yeah, it is basically an extra piece of bone or cartilage located on the inner side of the foot, right above the arch.
Wait, like an extra bone?
Yeah, an extra bone. It's congenital. But if it is something you were born with, and a significant portion of the global population has it without issue, I think the study noted nearly 24.5% of the Indian population, for example.
Really?
Yeah. Why does it suddenly become a crisis-level injury for a performer at this specific moment? Like, what is the actual mechanism of the injury here?
Okay, so the mechanism comes down to leverage and biomechanics.
Okay.
The posterior tibial tendon, which supports the arch of your foot, normally attaches to the main navicular bone.
Right.
But when you have this accessory bone, this extra one, the tendon often attaches to it instead.
Oh, I see.
Right, so this alters the angle of the tendon, creating a mechanical disadvantage. For an average person walking down the street, it is completely asymptomatic. You would never know it was there. But high-intensity K-pop choreography requires explosive jumps, sudden lateral pivots, and just bearing extreme weight on the ball of the foot.
So the altered tendon angle is basically creating severe friction during those specific movements.
Precisely. That friction, combined with the sheer repetitive force of rehearsing a stadium-level dance routine for hours on end, causes microscopic tears.
Ouch.
Yeah. The breakdown explains that RM suffered a partial ligament tear and a talus contusion, which is a severe bone bruising around the extra bone.
Oh, man, that sounds awful.
It is. The treatment requires a complete halt in mobility, rest, ice, compression, and a cast.
Right.
It is incredibly painful and causes significant swelling, but structurally it is highly treatable. It is the furthest thing from career ending.
Right, and the narrative of a hidden catastrophic injury was further debunked by RM himself the very next day.
Oh, during the live stream?
Yeah. On March 20th, BTS held a live broadcast to celebrate the Arirang release, and RM addressed the camera directly, and his tone was highly apologetic.
He always takes so much responsibility.
He does. He stated, quote, "I was really pushing myself. On that day, I was working extra hard and ended up injuring my ankle."
Yeah.
And he immediately tried to de-escalate the fandom's worry by adding, "It's not a very serious injury, so please don't worry too much."
The group dynamic during that broadcast was very telling, too.
Yeah.
J-Hope explicitly mentioned how shocked the other members were. Not just because of the injury itself, but because they knew the sheer volume of hours their leader had poured into perfecting this specific dance routine.
Right. They know how hard he worked.
Exactly. They wanted the full 7-member choreography to be absolutely flawless for the fans.
Which makes the visual evidence from the following weeks even more interesting.
Oh, the hopping.
Yes. There's a video published by USA Today from one of their subsequent appearances. RM is supposed to be remaining stationary, to protect the ligament.
Doctor's orders.
Right. But he's wearing his cast and literally hopping around the stage on one leg.
Oh my gosh.
He had so much adrenaline during the performance that he admitted the other members had to actively scold him on stage to prevent him from breaking his healthy ankle.
That is so on brand for them, honestly. It speaks to the extreme performance drive ingrained in these artists.
It really does.
But, if we analyze the broader cultural reaction to this injury, it extends far beyond the immediate fandom.
How so?
Well, the parenting and digital culture platform Screenwise actually published a comprehensive guide specifically analyzing the psychological fallout of RM's injury among younger demographics.
Oh, I saw that. I found the Screenwise analysis particularly revealing, but I do question how much of this is unique to K-pop.
That's a fair point.
Because they framed the intense anxiety as a byproduct of parasocial relationships, right?
Yeah.
Where fans view their bias as a deeply personal role model or the intellectual backbone of their own lives.
Right.
And when he gets hurt, the fans experience a form of secondary trauma. But hasn't that always existed in pop culture, like from Beatlemania onward?
Well, yeah, the baseline emotion is the same, but the digital infrastructure of modern K-pop fandoms amplifies the response exponentially.
Oh, because of how connected they are.
Exactly. Screenwise highlighted how this anxiety manifests in real-time digital spaces. It isn't just about feeling sad, it is about collective, immediate action.
Right.
To cope with the stress of the news and the uncertainty of the comeback, fans began organizing digital vigils and recreating BTS concert stages in games like Animal Crossing New Horizons.
Wait, they were building stages in Animal Crossing?
Yeah, it was incredible.
That is fascinating. Using digital architecture to channel parasocial anxiety, they're essentially building virtual shrines and stadiums to reclaim a sense of control over a situation where they have none.
That's exactly it.
Wow. Well, if you love breaking down these wild K-pop moments and staying updated on the psychological and cultural forces driving your favorites, make sure you subscribe to StarScope K-Report. You've got even bigger scoops ahead.
For sure.
Because the reality of the actual comeback stage on March 21st requires a deep dive of its own.
Oh, man. The physical scale of the Arirang launch event completely redefined the parameters of a standard album showcase.
Yeah, they bypassed traditional music show stages entirely.
Right. No Inkagayo or Music Bank.
Exactly. The launch was a globally synchronized Netflix live stream broadcasting directly from Seoul's Gwanghwamun Square.
Which is massive.
Event organizers projected a crowd of over 250,000 fans descending on the plaza.
250,000 people.
Yeah. And the anticipation metrics were so extreme that the city of Seoul officially raised the terror alert level for the area.
That is insane. The logistical deployment was staggering.
Right.
We are talking about 6,500 police officers, 70 riot control units, and 5,400 pieces of specialized crowd control equipment mobilized for a pop music showcase.
Yeah, and I want to analyze those security numbers.
Okay.
Because the immediate assumption from outsiders is that the fandom is simply out of control.
Yeah.
Which I think is a really lazy read.
Totally agree.
Gwanghwamun Square is the historic and political nerve center of Seoul. It sits directly in front of Gyeongbokgung Palace and is traditionally the site of massive national protests.
Right. It's a very sensitive area.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when you drop a highly anticipated post-military global music event into a high-security political zone, the deployment of 70 riot units isn't about fans misbehaving.
Right.
It is standard operating procedure for a mass gathering in a sensitive national space. It just highlights that the Hallyu Wave is now treated with the exact same logistical gravity as a major state or political event.
That is a crucial distinction. The security apparatus was there to manage the sheer physics of 250,000 bodies occupying a central plaza, not to police the enthusiasm.
Yeah, exactly.
And that Gwanghwamun showcase was merely the prologue. The blueprint for the Arirang World Tour is a masterclass in modern tour routing and endurance.
We're massive.
It is an all-stadium tour comprising 88 shows across 34 cities in 23 countries, which officially kicked off on April 9th at Goyang Stadium.
The cultural exchange occurring at these stadium shows is genuinely cinematic.
Oh, completely.
Take the May 19th fan project at Stanford Stadium in the Bay Area. BTS was performing to a cumulative crowd of over 150,000 across their dates there.
Right.
And during the performance of the track Body to Body, the Bay Area Army executed this synchronized project. Tens of thousands of fans simultaneously raised South Korean flags, the taegugi, while singing the traditional Korean folk song, Arirang.
Wow. Think about the mechanics of that moment.
Yeah.
You have an American audience in a California stadium utilizing the traditional anthem of the Korean Peninsula to honor the artists who brought that specific cultural identity to their doorstep.
It gives you chills.
It does. It completely inverts the historical flow of pop culture exports.
And that's not even the wildest part of this comeback. Wait till you hear the staggering revenue numbers and the surprise setlist secrets that have fans losing their minds.
Yeah, if we anchor our analysis in the present day, August 2026, the tour has evolved into an economic anomaly.
Anomaly is the right word. They're currently wrapping up the North American leg, playing back-to-back nights at some of the highest capacity venues on the continent. MetLife Stadium, Gillette, M&T Bank Stadium, and AT&T Stadium down in Arlington.
Huge venues.
Yeah.
And the box score data published by Billboard confirms they are currently outpacing every historical touring metric.
Wow.
Yeah, let's isolate the data from May in Paradise, Nevada at Allegiant Stadium. Across just 4 shows, they generated $49.5 million in gross revenue, moving 246,000 tickets.
That is absurd. Generating nearly $50 million in a single municipality over one weekend basically creates a GDP-level economic event for the host city.
It really does.
It generates so much localized revenue through hospitality, transit, and tourism that it actually influences geopolitical requests.
Oh, right. The Mexico situation.
Yes. The president of Mexico formally appealed to the South Korean president to facilitate additional tour dates in their country, which ultimately couldn't happen simply because the physical itinerary could not accommodate it.
It's wild. When heads of state are lobbying for concert dates to boost their national economies, you are no longer just analyzing a music tour.
Right.
You are looking at a macroeconomic catalyst.
Exactly.
And the production value of the show reflects that scale. The stage architecture alone is a significant evolution from their past tours.
Tell me about this stage. I saw pictures and it looks incredible.
They designed a 360-degree Jeongja-style pavilion stage, directly inspired by the Gwanghwamun Pavilion in Gwanghwamun Palace.
Oh, that's what that is. The architectural choice of the Jeongja Pavilion is brilliant from both a cultural and logistical standpoint.
How so?
Well, a traditional Korean pavilion features an open, pillared structure without solid walls. So by scaling that up for a stadium, they eliminated the massive solid LED screens that usually block sightlines.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, it allows them to sell completely unobstructed 360-degree ticketing, maximizing venue capacity while deeply infusing their cultural heritage into the physical structure of the show.
Wow. It perfectly marries artistic intent with revenue optimization. Furthermore, the way they have structured the musical narrative of the show has fundamentally altered how the fandom engages with the tour on a nightly basis.
Right. The set list changes.
Yes, they have essentially gamified the set list.
Yeah. Following the performance of Dynamite, the rigid structure of the concert just breaks down. Every single night, BTS pulls 2 completely random surprise tracks from their extensive discography. It is a highly effective retention strategy for the fandom.
It treats a concert tour like a live sports season.
Exactly.
Fans aren't just watching the show, they are running analytics on the probability of certain songs being played, tracking which tracks have been exhausted, and debating what might appear the next night.
Yeah, and we have seen wildly different emotional beats as a result. Night 1 in Goyang featured Microcosmos and I Need You.
Classics.
Night 3 delivered the emotional heavyweight, Spring Day. The Mexico City dates brought out the early-era aggression of Boy in Love, while Stanford got Blood, Sweat, and Tears.
Which is incredible.
It forces the digital fandom to tune in to localized live streams every single night just to see what happens. Hit that subscribe button so you never miss a KT update on setlist changes and tour gossip.
Absolutely. Synthesizing this entire timeline from a panic-inducing Weverse notification regarding an accessory navicular sprain in March, to the deployment of riot units in Seoul, to breaking global macroeconomic touring records in August.
Right.
This is fundamentally a story about the physical and logistical reality of modern K-pop.
Yeah, the timeline itself is the most revealing part.
Definitely.
Because these artists completed years of mandatory military service, immediately entered the studio to finalize a full album, engaged in intense, high-impact choreography rehearsals late into the night, and launched directly into the most grueling all-stadium tour on the planet.
Right.
Armer's injury wasn't a conspiracy. It was a highly visible fracture in a punishing schedule.
It forces a confrontation with the physical limitations of the human body, regardless of how much capital or cultural momentum is behind it.
Yeah, which leaves us with a highly provocative question regarding the future of the industry. As the foundational second and third generation K-pop idols transition fully into their 30s post-enlistment, how must the physical demands of these massive acrobatic comebacks evolve?
That's the million-dollar question.
Will we see a systemic shift in the industry standard? Will fandoms, who once demanded flawless, high-impact dance routines, have to actively adjust their expectations to protect the physical longevity of the groups they claim to support?
It's going to be interesting to watch. I think the reaction to RM's injury proves that the fandom prioritizes the health of the artist above the spectacle.
Right.
But whether the massive corporate machinery behind the Hallyu Wave is willing to slow down its choreography and scheduling to accommodate aging joints and tendons, well, that remains the definitive question for the next decade of K-pop.
Absolutely. You've been listening to StarScope K-Report, where Eric and Minji bring you the stories shaping K-pop, K-dramas, and the global Hallyu Wave. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.